your dreams trying to tell you something? Author M.B. Mosley teaches you how to decode your dreams and take hold of the manifestations that lay in wait for you in the waking realm. Now, broadcasting all over the world, it's the Dream Interpretation Podcast.
Welcome, family. Please be reminded that all dreams are not a one-size-fits-all, and that each dream may be similar, but is contingent upon each individual's waking life. I conduct dream interpretations based upon my waking life as it pertains to my journey here on earth. As for the requests that are emailed to me, I do a general interpretation as I do not know the individual's spiritual and personal waking life. I am so excited. Welcome to Zip Baby Zip. Zip Baby Zip. That's DZIP, the Dream Zone Interpretation Podcast. Share this podcast with your loved ones, guys. I'm so excited to continually teach you all on how to do dream interpretations. I want to hear about it. You can email me at askmemory2019@gmail.com. And we are also dropping new episodes every other Wednesdays as we acclimate into this podcast. And the further out we go in the podcast, we're hoping to drop more episodes, and we're hoping to hear from your requests as well. I'm excited for that. So let's get right into it, folks. Drum roll, please. Grab your pens and paper, and 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Zip Baby Zip. Hashtag DZIP, the Dream Zone Interpretation Podcast. Welcome back, Zip Tribe. I am your host, author, and sister friend, M.B. Mosley, also known as Memory Bengessa Mosley. How are you all doing on today? Hope that this podcast finds you and your family well. We are tearing on here with the dream interpretation, and today's dream interpretation is one that may be also common and familiar. All right, and to follow along with the dream interpretation method or technique for you students, I have created a dream interpretation sheet. Remember, I'm still a work in progress. However, you can find this at www.memorybengessa.org. And this will be in the blog post section. So these will be some questions that can help you decode your dream and get the messages from the spiritual dream realm as it pertains to your waking life. So now today's dream is interesting, right? It's going to be under the umbrella of the past. So the past. So now what I wanted to do an interpretation of was an example of the time that I had a dream about our childhood home. Now, when we say that, let's say the umbrella is the past. And when I say the past, that means for me in this particular example, it's the childhood home. I no longer live in the childhood home. It's been a long time since I've lived in the childhood home. I'm nowhere close to the childhood home. So that is a figment of my past. So anytime that you dream of places, spaces, and or things that no longer are within your present current situation, then you're dreaming of what will be known as the past. If you dream of your old school building, your elementary school building, heck, if you dream of your kindergarten school building, I don't remember that far, but I just remember first grade and up, but I digress. So if you dream of your elementary school, if you dream of high school, perhaps it's been 15 years since you've been away from high school. If you dream of your childhood home, or even if you dream of a property or home you left 10 years ago, 5 years ago, anything that no longer is present, futuristic is the past, correct? All right. So that's why the umbrella is the past, because perhaps you haven't had a dream of a childhood home, but perhaps you have dreamt of that elementary school or perhaps you've dreamt of that, your town of birth, so it could be different situations, but the umbrella is the past, and this interpretation will suffice as well. And so we're going to follow along the dream interpretation sheet. And so now we are looking at the first question. What did you dream about? for me in particular, with this dream interpretation is my childhood home. All right. So the next question is, what type of energy was I feeling the instant I woke up? I was nervous. Patted myself. No, I'm just teasing. But I was nervous. I didn't like that dream. I didn't like that dream at all. I was relieved. Hello. Goodbye. What type of energy, next question, what type of energy was I feeling in the dream itself? So in the dream itself, I was confused. I was wondering why I was there. It was very surreal, which made it even more worse, or that much worse, because I didn't want to be there. There's nothing that was pleasant about that space. And the more scarier part for me is my childhood home is the place of birth for me, which is in Zimbabwe in Africa. And so I've been here in the West forever. This is home. But now it was like, wait a minute. And because I was by myself, right? And like, as it pertains right now to my waking life, I have like a handful of relatives, like literally just like probably my uncle who I grew up knowing. But what I'm saying, other than the others, because my aunties, my immediate family, everybody is here, right? So in that dream, it was scary because I was the only one there. And I'm like, wait, shaking my head. What are we doing here? And so it's just really based on that childhood home and not the fact that I was back in Zimbabwe. No, it was really mainly not wanting to be within that childhood home, the memories there. So then we have, what are your cultural and your spiritual beliefs behind the dream? I left that blank, and I like to ask that question because if you're something like I am, where people will believe that if it's the house is talking to you, it's pulling you back in, the energy of the house. So that's why I like to ask that, because I think it can always also help with decoding the dream as it pertains to your waking life. And so now the next question is, list everything you see in the dream. So I was listing everything that I saw in the dream. At that time, it was the kitchen as I remembered it, and the outside as I remembered it. And so before we go further, let's describe the kitchen. Rolls up sleeves, leans in closer to the microphone. The kitchen had these like bright orange drawers or cabinets with white trimmings. Now, that might be a memory, maybe, because it's so crazy because like your memory can hold on to memories, but some maybe they've changed a little bit. I don't know. But that's just how I remember it. And I laugh and I say that because it was an interesting point when I talked to my younger sister, and we'll talk about stuff, and she took her a while because she'd always say, don't you remember that? And I kept telling her, look, because it's about 5 of us siblings. And I told her, look, we could all have been raised in the same household, but your memories are not my memories and my memories are not your memories. You will have a different experience than I have, because she really thought because we grew up together that I should have been remembering what she remembered. And it was awkward because I didn't. But like, once again, there's literally, I forgot the psychologist that wrote a book about it, about siblings experiences being different. But anyways, and so I digress. So there's the kitchen. I'm standing there. I'm looking around, and there was no one else there. I just remember like kind of being frantic and just kind of like not believing I was there. And I walked out of the kitchen to go towards, it was like a gravelly road-ish, little stones, whatever. And the gate was a whiles down, and I was going towards the gate because it felt so real. At the same time, it's like I'm not supposed to be here by myself. Like, I was just having that like moment, like I'm here by myself, like, because it's like what to do, and actually don't want to be there, at that particular childhood home, let alone by myself. And so that's that part. And it says, where am I in the dream and what am I doing? So I hence in the kitchen, walked outside, I think in the frantic moment trying to like disbelieve what was going on, but it was so surreal. All right. So it states here, what colors, and the next question, what colors and or numbers do I see, if any, in this dream? I definitely see orange. Right? I see orange as the kitchen cabinets. So let's proceed. How does the color meaning fit in with your waking life? All right. So how does the color meaning fit in with my waking life? So once again, remember, when we're looking at color symbolism, and when we're looking at number symbolisms, you will get most times more than one symbolism meaning. And so therefore, how does it pertain to your waking life? So the orange color symbolizes positive life changes, trying to move forward. Believe it or not, that pulled up as part of the orange color symbolism. So now we go to the bottom part. We take every point that we have written up here as it pertains to our dream, and we put it in a sentence and or a paragraph to decode the entire message for our waking life. And so in this paragraph, from what I have gathered from everything that I have, the points that I've written up here above, is that I was having a hard time getting my mind away from my past. My past employment. It was during my 6 months of dark soul journey. So you all, at this time, in this moment that this dream manifested itself, it was a dark part in my life, the darkest moment of my soul, and I couldn't get out of bed. I when you have invested a certain amount of years somewhere and things don't really work the way you want them to work, or you expected them to work, I should say, and such is life. However, in that moment, I found myself in a state of, trying to move forward, but I couldn't mentally. Mentally, I knew I couldn't. I knew that, I was trying to do all that, we're going forward, we're moving forward. But my mind was stuck on what had happened and how things had happened and transpired with this exit of this long employment. So, I said here, I did not want to go back. Absolutely. So the things that had manifested, but the things that had actually happened at the time with that employment, when I did the exit, I didn't want to go back at all. It made me feel some type of way, the way the entire situation was handled. I did enjoy my craft. I'd always enjoyed being a clinician. However, I also had a role in the leadership role as well, in which that role took away and chipped away at my soul. That wasn't me. But I did enjoy the clinical part of it. I enjoyed the patient's part of it. I've always loved it. And so therefore, I did miss my craft and my patients. The relationship I had with them is what I missed above everything, but not so much the toxic environment with the employees. No, ma'am. No, thank you. And so it was because it was at that time I was trying to move forward, but I was having a hard time letting go. I've already said that. I'm just reading to you what I wrote here from the information that we gathered at the top here. And let me see here, letting go of all that had transpired. And we did talk about orange color symbolizes positive life changes, trying to move forward. So in a nutshell, what was happening at that time, in the depths of the darkest nights of my soul, in that journey, I was trying my best to move forward, but mentally I knew that mentally I was being held to my past only because of the way things ended. And most times with everything I always say in life, no matter what it is, closure is not just for broken relationships. Closure, I've always found that closure in anything that ends is muy importante for the most part, right? That's just always been me. Or maybe I don't know, maybe sometimes I'm weird, but I just always need closure. I like to, no matter what it is, let's have some closure, so I can breathe, move forward. So at that time there was no closure. The way it was just really crazy how everything just like collapsed in that moment. And so I think in the midst of that searching and just trying to come out of it and trying to move forward, this dream showed up, and it was both not enjoying the dream of being in the childhood home, but it also amplified my waking state, how much I didn't want to go back, and how it also in my waking life, the thought of even I wouldn't dare. And not even if I was going to get paid $1 million a year, because it gave me anxiety. It gave me anxiety and made me really nervous just to even think about that past. So it was really analogous with that child home dream. And that's why I wanted to say that the umbrella of this is the past. So perhaps sometimes, just at the top of the podcast there, if you have dreamt of your old school, your old home, your anything past, sometimes it's a message from the spiritual realm for us to now let go of the past and move forward. Sometimes it's a message for us to let go of the past, because remember, you all, the past serves us no purpose in our current waking life and our future. However, as the spiritual beings that we are here on earth, we're here to learn souls on this journey. Perhaps sometimes for some, the past may have been glorious, right? And so perhaps it's not the fact that you're holding on to a glorious past, but perhaps the past keeps popping up to remind you that perhaps there may be a lesson there to still be learned that we may be missing out on. So pay attention to those spiritual dreams that pertain to the past, and ask spirit, hey, what's going on with the past? Like I say, there's some people with examples of an amazing dynamic past, but perhaps because the lessons that we're supposed to learn were not learned. So there's nothing wrong with doing a little soul searching, digging a little bit deeper. I had to ask spirit to help me let go of the past, because I knew mentally that this past really stood a chance to break me down to my core if I didn't shake what was going on, if I didn't get up out of bed and go forward and move forward. And whether closure was going to come, I needed the strength to move forward and blossom up to being who I'm supposed to be on this path. For understanding that season lasted for that season. Whether the closure came or not, it was time, and it was time. Yes, indeed. I enjoyed doing this dream interpretation here with you all today. Remember, dream interpretation sheets, the questions that we're asking here to help guide you on your path of decoding the spiritual dream realm messages, to decode those, to identify the messages as it pertains to your waking life, are located at www.memorybengesa.org. I love you guys that much. Stay blessed.
For God speaks in one way and or in two, though man does not perceive it. He speaks in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men while they slumber on their beds. Happy dreaming.